There are some organisms known as the amphibians. They have these very fascinating characteristics that make them to stand out from other organisms. Okay, so what animals start life swimming like a fish and end up walking on land like a lizard? Okay, so these are amphibians that have these very important traits. So you can see them in the water swimming, they reproduce in water. Okay, they can also find them on land. They come to look for insects, they come to look for prey for them to survive. So these are amphibians. Sometimes there's other organisms that we normally use to confuse amphibians. For example, like reptiles. Some snakes, you can find them in water. Hippopotamus, sometimes you can find them in water. Hippopotamus also, you can find them in water. And which other organism? Crocodile, you can find crocodile inside the water. But the question, are they amphibians? No, what some organisms that are reptiles, okay? Or some organisms that are mammals, you can find them in water. Well, we have organisms that are specifically known as amphibians because of the specific characteristics. So in this video, I'm going to learn about the amphibians. Okay, so you can see toads, you can find them in water, swimming inside the water, enjoying their life. You can also find them hopping and jumping on land and looking for prey. Okay, and this jumping normally help them to escape from predators. It's kind of a defensive mechanism. Okay, so the word amphibia comes from the Greek word amphi. All right, and this means boat or dwell, and bios means what? Life. So which means amphibians lives a double life, to part in water, also part on land. Okay, so it's very important to understand what that means. Okay, so the toads, the frogs, they're a very good example of amphibians. So what other examples? You have your frogs, you have your toad, you have your newts, and also have your salamander. So these are examples of amphibians. Okay, so where can you actually find these amphibians? You can find them near ponds, streams, swamps, and you also find them on moist land areas. Okay, so it's very important for you to know. So anywhere you have water, when you have water like your swamps, your lakes, you can find amphibians around that type of habitat. Okay, so now we need to check some characteristics about them. So in terms of the body covering, all right. So the skin is very smooth, thin, and moist. They don't have any scales. They don't have any hair. So this is a very fascinating feature they possess that make them to be able to respire while they're in water. Okay, so you look at the skin, moist. They have a moist skin, and most of the time, if you hold an amphibian, you hold a toe and you press the toe against your hand, you see water coming out, maybe through the mouth or through the anus. Okay, because they're always moist and they're always found in water. Now, the skin have a very fascinating function. So they have a moist skin that allows gas to pass through it directly, and this is called cutaneous respiration. So apart from cutaneous respiration, they also have some other type of respiration when they're outside the water. Okay, so that's what we're going to learn when we go to respiration in animals. All right. So they use this skin for them to carry out respiration, and this is called cutaneous. So in terms of body temperature, they are not as poikilothermic. Why? Because they are cold-blooded animals. So they're not as poikilothermic. So one question: if a frog's skin dries out completely, can it still breathe properly? Why or why not? So this is a question I want you to ponder about. So if the skin, that moist skin, become dried up completely, are you sure that the toad will be able to breathe freely? Or what's going to happen if the skin is dried up completely? So the answer is no, it can't, because the moist skin allows gas to pass through it directly. So this is called what, the cutaneous respiration. So the skin is dry completely, respiration will not be able to take place. So the organism will tend to die. Okay, that's one very important aspect. So the life cycle. So amphibians undergo metamorphosis. Metamorphosis has to do with the changes that occurs in the body over time. All right, and if you look at the life cycle here, once the adult lay the eggs turn to a tadpole. So most of the time you see tadpole in the water, and with tadpole it give rise to this structure here. From there, it become a froglet. From the froglet, then it becomes what, an adult frog. So this is the life cycle of the toads. Okay, so in terms of reproduction, eggs are laid in water in a jelly-like cluster called the spawn, and fertilization is what is external. So they lay it out. So the female lay the eggs, while the male come, they release the sperm on the egg and fertilize the egg. So because see this process occur outside the organism, so the fertilization is said to be external, not what internal. This also occurs in fishes also. All right. So in terms of movements, adults use four limbs. They have the four limbs, or they have the fore and the hind limbs. So they use four limbs for jumping and hopping, or walking like organs like salamanders. Okay, so that's for movements. So let's go through importance of amphibians. Why, how are they important, or what importance they are? Well, so they help to control insects and pest population by feeding on them. So they feed on insects. So as they feed on insects, they're reducing the population of some dangerous species of insects. And those acts as indicator of a healthy environment, and they are very sensitive to pollution. So in a polluted water, you find lots of amphibians there. So with that, you can either detect that okay, this water is clean or this water is dirty. Why? Because you find specific species of amphibians in that water. So we use that as an environmental and water health indicator. So they also serve as food for other animals in terms of the food chain. Okay, and some are used in medical research. For example, the foreskin secretion can be studied for what medicine. So these are the importance of the amphibian. All right. So my next video, we're going to discuss more other class of chordata. Like I told you, chordata are organisms that have backbones. So we're going to learn other members of this chordata. All right. So I'm going to learn about mammalia. I'm going to learn about reptilia. All right. I'm still going to learn about primates, those like your monkeys, your chimpanzee. All right. So I'm going to see you in my next video. In my next video, where I'm going to discuss more on the phylum Chordata. I'm going to learn other class like the amphibians. We'll learn about amphibians. We'll learn about the Pisces. So you go to my channel, you have Pisces there. Then we're going to learn about aves. Aves are birds. Birds are fly. We're going to learn about birds. So just keep checking on my channel where I drop more videos on classes under phylum Chordata. And don't forget, phylum Chordata are organisms that have backbone. Okay, and before the backbone develop, they have what a bone-like structure called what the notochord. So the notochord develop into what the backbone. All right. So see you in my next video, and thank you very much for watching the video to this point.